All right, before we get it in, much love to Raw Natural Unrefined Hemp Rolling Papers. Go check them out at www.rawthenic.com. Made in Alcoy, Spain, raw rolling papers are unbleached and unrefined with absolutely no dyes, no chalks, and no burning additives so that you can taste the true quality of the product you're smoking on. I know, I'm guilty of it too, but stop it with the blunt wraps and the low-quality papers. Start treating your lungs to the best rolling paper on the market. So go peep out their wide variety of papers, cones, tips, trays, accessories, limited edition collectibles, and a shit ton more at www.rawthenic.com. That's RAWTHENTIC.com. Also, big shout outs to Small Town Recovery and Consulting. For all your business consulting needs, make sure you check them out at www.smalltownrecovery.com, or you can give them a call at 702-293-1010. Also, don't forget to check out bombgreen.com. That's BOMGREEN.com. All right, let's get it going. Yo, Hip Hop Roots Podcast. Ho, 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 bitches. Episode 8. This is our Christmas episode. You already know the drill. Hit the voicemail text line. It's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. 775-538-6350. Interested in being a guest? You want to advertise your brand? Hit up the email, hiphoprootspodcast@gmail.com. Yo, again, we making segments out of the voicemails for the next couple weeks. If you got Hip Hop Roots memories, make sure you hit that voicemail line and share your memories with us. So that way you can end up on the segment. Oh, dear. My guest this week. I'm so fucking excited, yo. This is my boy. This guy right here is my motherfucker. Stand-up comedian, father, one of my best fucking friends, my favorite plug, as seen on I don't know what fucking show it was on. I don't know where the hell you're at, but my boy, Bobby Wayne Stauts.
What's
how
up,
you feeling, brother?
Yeah, brother. Thank you for having me.
Man, how you
and
doing?
I gotta say, the feeling is reciprocal, man. Like I wouldn't be doing any of this shit if it wasn't for you guys. So you especially, like, you pushed me to get into it, and it's been a hell of a ride ever since.
Man,
so.
I'd say it's. Again, like, I don't know where to start with you, like most of these guys, but it's, you've been on the fucking road to success, boy. I'll tell you what.
I hope it's success. I'm on the road to somewhere. We'll find out in a few years what I've been up to. But it's fun. Like, I would call it a success because, you know, I'm not rich, but I've had a ton of fun, and that means more to me than the money.
Yeah.
Which is going to be my downfall in this damn business.
Yeah, well, just like anybody else, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, I have way too much fun to worry about the money, so... That's what sucks. Is like nothing pays enough, but I'm like, I'm having enough fun. It's worth it.
But shit, you're the only person. I mean, I don't know. I mean, hip hop guys and certain these musicians and stuff, they're doing one, maybe two shows a night, a couple nights a week. I mean, you're doing like 500 plus shows a year, kind of thing. I mean, that's more than two shows a night at some points. I mean, You're staying busy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, like I'm fortunate that there's great clubs in town, like LA Comedy Club, and there's only a few of them. Local comedy's not very well respected yet in this town. Mm-hmm. We're not usually looked at as a viable source of entertainment, so we have a hard time getting up. But once you make it in, it becomes a bit easier because you start getting your foot in the door. But
yeah,
the ones that do give us the most spots are LA Comedy Club, Las Vegas Live, and now Laugh Factory down there in Tropicana.
Yeah.
So they're starting to put a lot of locals up. So the LA Comedy Club allows me, I'm the resident opener 6 days a week for the redneck magician James Michael.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, right. It's
fits
a good
right up
fit.
your sleeve, right up your lane.
Believe it or not, though, it's actually usually really tough because it's a 6 p.m. show.
Okay.
But I'm having to learn how to work all genres and ages and things like that. So it's
so the difference between like the earlier shows and the later shows is like night and day?
Absolutely. Usually your later shows are a bit more forgiving because they're just usually the younger crowd. They're a bit more hip and they're not as sensitive.
Okay.
Whereas your 6 p.m. crowd is generally the people that are going to be in bed by the time your 8 p.m. crowd
The older
shows up.
folk and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what we call the cruise ship crowd. So
yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean,
but the thing that I'm learning now is the old people that we have now were the ones that were young in the 60s and 70s.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they're the ones that invented all the cool shit that we do anyway.
Yeah.
So,
well, even the times then that raunchy comedy wasn't, you look back at it now and it's just not so raunchy. But at the time, it was like, wow, I can't believe you fucking said that. So now when you're saying the kind of shit you're saying, they're like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Like, there's a lot of people that talk about how people are too sensitive and they get too offended too easily.
Uh-huh.
But, you've been to shows recently. You've seen the stuff that I get away with. And I, you know what I mean? Like, I damn sure don't pull any punches.
No, and that's for sure.
But I think it's all in the presentation. You know what I mean? Like, and it's if you're funny enough in the moment, people don't have the opportunity to get offended. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, laughter is an involuntary response. It's like saying ow. When something hurts, it hurts. When something's funny, it's funny.
You just laugh.
Yeah, you can't. And if it's funny enough, you can't fight it. And that's always my goal. When I find a vein that people don't like, all right, I'm going to find a way to make you guys laugh at this because you're not being sincere with me right now. You're putting up a front for some reason. Oh, all right. That's how I feel about it. So that's kind of always how I approach it. Like, you're not offended. I just haven't found common ground on this subject with you yet.
Yeah.
So,
well, I like to watch you. You're good at writing material, and the way you even started before you started doing stand-up, you're just a naturally funny motherfucker. You're at a party and it's just, you just go, you know what I mean? And to watch you finally find that where you've homed that right in the middle between you just talking off the top like you would at anybody, like at a party, and actually, and meshing in the material. I mean, it's gold. I mean, to watch you go out. We just went to that, what is it, Hilarious 7?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, John Hilder's show
Hooters.
over at Hooters.
Yeah, at Hooters. Shout outs to them because that's a nice venue as well.
That's one I forgot. I apologize for leaving those guys out.
That's all right.
The 7 p.m.
I wouldn't let it slide by. But
I'm under the influence of the old.
But even that, like to watch you, not the other shout outs to the other comedians, they were great. But you went 4 or 5, and they were kind of had this thing. I mean, and you, just unloaded on them. You know what I mean? And it was so good because I don't think that there might have been one joke that I can think off the top of my head that might have been kind of written, but because of you were chopping it up with everybody, and it's just how they responded was how you responded, so it was very genuine. You know what I mean? Almost like freestyle rapping. You know what I mean? Like it had to be off the top. You just knew it was because of the way you were responding, and that's gold. That's something I don't think a lot of people have.
I appreciate that, and that comes from when you begin comedy. Some people begin. Okay, who am I really up there? You know what I mean? Because in a lot of ways, when you first start, even if you are writing material, you are emulating comics that you like.
Yeah.
So your delivery and style may be a bit in their cadence. So you got to learn how to shake that. And then one day, I posed this question to myself. The jokes that I'm writing, I'm like, these are funny, they work, but is this the person that was being convinced by his friends to be a comedian? Mm-hmm. Because I remember when I did that album over at Nacho Daddy's called Be Cool Honky?
Yeah.
A friend of mine from Texas listened to it, and he goes, man, this is funny, but it ain't 100% you. He goes, this feels a bit like a put-on. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, the guy that I hung out with talking shit wasn't this planned out. So I was like, okay, I get it. So that's where I've pushed to become a bit more random and in the moment, because like I've had people now that will leave they would come to the 6 p.m. show and then meet me at the 7 p.m. show at Hooters to watch me do a second set. And then sometimes I've even had people go to a third show.
That's awesome.
And that's what I want. I want people to know that if I'm in their town doing 2 or 3 shows a night,
you're never probably going to see the same thing twice.
Exactly. You can come to all 3 shows in a night. I want you to know if you come back to see me, it's not going to be the same stuff over and over. Like I've got, what was it, at the Hooters, I managed to walk backwards into a topic that I've been wanting to go off about anyway, which was the Confederate statues.
Yeah.
And then I just happened to have an opportunity where 2 people lived in Confederate towns, and that opened up the door for that conversation. You know what I mean? So that was a genuine conversation that I had with those people. And that's what I love. And then left there, and the next show, I ended up talking to a guy that just got out of prison. He was in for 30 years.
Trip out.
You know what I mean? He'd been out for a day and came to a comedy show. So for him, even though I was making fun of him, it was one of the greatest things in his life because he's been in prison for the last 30 years.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome, though. You can imagine what it's like from his standpoint. It's probably the funniest fucking thing he's ever seen in his life.
It's the first time he's been made fun of without worried about being shanked.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, he's had to worry about being stabbed with a knife that was in somebody's butthole for 30 years. You know what I mean? Not only is it an open wound, but there's E. coli you got to worry about. So it's...
Straight up. That's funny. So would you say, like... 75% of your material when you're on stage at any given point's pretty much just right off the top, like however it just
it depends on where you see me.
Okay.
Like the 6 p.m. show.
Well, I'd imagine you'd have to have people interact. So if people don't interact, then you can't really.
I need a gauge first. So if like I open the 6 p.m. show, so I don't know what the crowd's going to be like. Okay. I don't know what direction they're going. I don't know what their sensitivities are. Because a lot of times if I hear a crowd get sensitive about something, I'm going to find a way to make fun of that to get them laughing about what they're sensitive about. Because I'm going to show them this is a wrestling match. You know what I mean? You're not going to beat me here. I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
But if I'm the first one to go up, then I do a little bit of material to kind of feel where they're at. Because if they pull back from the material, then I'm like, all right, they're super sensitive. I'm really going to push them out of their comfort zone.
Okay.
Or they end up just being wild. And you ditch the joke right away and you mash the gas and see where it goes.
Huh.
Let go of the steering wheel.
Yeah, see, and a lot of it's come from watching you start to this point. But it's, I got a real respect for stand-up comedy because it's so different than, I put a beat on, I get downtime. A lot of, things are pre-planned. Even if you freestyle, you don't freestyle a whole set. There's certain things, you know what I mean? But you literally are going up there like a speaker. And, I mean, you got to hold down a conversation-ish and tell a story, whatever your angle is, and be able to hold attention and be entertaining. And just you, though. Just your voice. There's no background, nothing, or there's just something about that that's
there is no that joke bomb, here's a guitar solo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or let me take a breather real quick and catch my mind or something, you know what I mean, like get a thought.
And there are times I wish I had a musical instrument to hide behind. Oh man. But you've also learned to just like you really just push forward, and if you back out of the joke, that's when everybody else is like, we were right in being offended. You know what I mean? He backed out. We were right. Like last night at the 6 p.m., there was a young lady that turned 21. And this is my new favorite thing to do on stage is just talking with people. Like it's new to me because it's taken me, I've been a comedian 7 years now, which again, I'll never forget. That was you talking me into going to Big Al's. Remember that?
Yeah.
That comedy, my comedy career outlasted that comedy club.
And actually, your first time ever on stage was at Daddy Mac's.
Oh, man.
And shout-outs to Art Signs. We'll have him on next week. That's our last episode of the year, but he's going to be on. But that was me. Actually, he put both of us on stage. Me as a solo artist for the first time. Daddy Mac's. So that was the first time we ever got really, you got your real taste of getting on stage.
And no one believes me. Like, comedians don't believe me that my first time on stage, like, I was up there for like 20 minutes. You guys wouldn't let me leave, remember?
Yeah.
It was our whole crew that hung out and talked shit.
Yeah, it was like
online.
only us, so they let us pretty much do whatever we wanted.
So, but that's why I also don't count that one. I was like, that was a room full of my friends. The only thing that we added was the microphone.
But you know what? I think that, and I think that kind of gave you a taste, too, of going up, instead of, it wasn't like all of us sitting at a table. You know what I mean? Chit-chatting. Everybody was like kind of sitting down and eyes on you. So, but to watch you do, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it the set, you know what I mean? You were on and off, and we tried different stuff. But like to watch you do that, to watch you go into Big Al's, and I mean just slowly progress, like I said, because then you started learning how to write material, how to like set up jokes and all this stuff, and now you've learned to mesh that again off the top conversation kind of thing, and now that's pretty much the majority of your show. And then if I guess, like I said, if you don't get the crowd interaction, it's always nice to have those pre-writtens and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have songs you can fall back on. You know what I mean? You got your bits you can fall back on. when you got to get through it. You know, if you're doing 45 minutes an hour, it's really hard to have a conversation with 12 people for an entire hour. So you got to have some sort of direction. But like around town, man, the most I do is 20 minutes. And at first I was like, oh no, there's no way I could do crowd work for 20 minutes. But then I was like, these are human beings. You can have a conversation with people for 20 minutes and survive. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then everything is just, you just make everything outrageous. You get absurd with everything.
Yeah, crack shit and stuff. When's the last time you've hit an open mic? Because there was a point where I was running around with you and it was pretty much strictly open mics. But I don't know that I've, I mean, you're so damn busy with these shows. I mean, you pretty much haven't touched one in a while. Like, not needing one.
I hate to say I don't need one, because if I wasn't getting as many stage opportunities as I am right now,
then you definitely need to practice.
I'd be right back in it, because I love doing this stuff, and it's like any other muscle. You know what I mean? If you stop throwing a baseball at some point, you're going to lose your accuracy and you're going to lose your speed.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel with comedy. Is I feel like that's just another muscle, that brain. You just keep that brain moving all the time, and that's hard to explain to people that don't do comedy. Because my wife, for instance, would love it if I quit doing so many shows. But I'm trying to explain to her, like you only get good at stuff by practicing. And if I wanted to be good at a sport, I could get out there and practice for 2 hours a day and get good at it.
Yeah.
With comedy, when you start out, remember, it was 3 to 5 minutes would be my starting sets. So in order to get good, you got to do it a lot, and you got to get out there a lot, and you got to go up 3, 4, if you can, 5 times a night to shorten that learning curve. Because I would do one open mic and eat it bad. New jokes sucked, didn't go over. But you're like, I know this is funny. Well, if I only did one mic, I got to wait 24, 48, 72 hours before I get back up the next time.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing 2, 3 mics a night, okay, what went wrong? Okay, how do we fix that? What part didn't they like? Where did you screw up? And then an hour later, you're working the kinks out. Now it gets a few laughs. And then by the third mic, you got it going. You know what I mean? And then the next night, you pick up where you left off, and you just keep sharpening that knife, man. You just keep going.
And see, that's what's cool, because like I said, the multiple shows a night, multiple nights a week, that's very repetitive. That's a lot of practice. You know what I mean? That's like going to the gym twice a day, 3 times, 3 times a week type shit. So,
and that's another thing that got me out of material. Oh, I was so tired of hearing myself tell the same shit over and over.
Yeah, you get bored.
And there's more out there. And again, you're looking for yourself up there a lot of times. You know what I mean? I feel like performers are that way. Whatever, hip hop got to be the same way. The songs when you first started maybe ain't necessarily true to who you are now.
Yeah.
And that's the same way comedy is. At first, you're just trying to get laughs. And then by the end of it, you're like, I got a point. I got some shit I want to talk about. You know what I mean? And and then at some point, you're just like right now, I'm just like, I just want to have fun. I want total chaos. I want to get this place riled the fuck up and then hand it off to the next person. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And that's the way it is right now. Like, I remember our buddy Solo?
Yeah.
One of the things that he told me before I ever started with comedy, or after the first time, he just told me, he goes, man, when you go up there, just be a force. Just be a movement in the room. And that stuck with me forever. I was like, all right, don't just be a person, be a force.
Yeah. Well, and you are, not only like around the people we knew like at the parties, when you go to the shows, like, that's people know that's Bobby. You know what I mean? Like, people love you to death, and I think it's not only because you're a likable dude. You're just are who you are. You know what I mean? Even when you're on stage, you're the same dude. It's just lit up a little more. You know what I mean? But it's the same shit. Like, you say the wrong thing around you, and you walk into something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can't help but to crack a joke about it or something. But
that's it. Everybody's wrong when I'm on stage. Until the crowd agrees with me. If one night, this old lady, I asked, this people have been married for like 40 years, and I was like, how'd you guys meet? And he goes, man, I don't remember. And then she whispered in his ear, and he started laughing. And I was like, what's so funny? And he goes, she just reminded me she was easy. And I was like, everyone was like, ooh. And immediately I was like, I'm going the other direction in the crowd. I was like, fuck y'all, she's the cool one. She was spreading that giner around. The rest of y'all are being stingy with it. What's going on with it? You know what I mean? So that's fun. Like, that's fun. It's that tug of war. It's that I'm not always going to go the way the crowd wants me to.
Yeah.
It's mainly I like busting balls with everybody, just like the party days.
And because you do that, like now, how often do you get the people that are just, that just don't have that thick skin? You know what I mean?
Right now it's very rarely. I know it's coming. I know I've pushed my luck a lot. Sometimes you can kind of sense when people don't want to play along.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm going to acknowledge that they don't, and that's kind of when they laugh. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, you're trying to break them too. You're trying to get them to kind of loosen up, and as well. So if you can be the guy to do that, that's that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, I feel like the opener sets the tone, and the higher I set the bar, then the higher everyone that follows me has to go. And like, I have the weirdest analogy for the way I look at a show, because I don't care about where I'm at in the lineup, dude. There's a lot of comics like, I got to be a headliner. Only reason I want to be a headliner is because it's a paycheck and I get to do a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really.
You're going to kill regardless.
I just want to, I'm going to go up and have fun, and I'm going to do my thing. You know what I mean? Wherever you put me, I'm swinging for the fence. That's it. So I started looking at a show where I'm like, if the person before me goes up and kills, I'm going to go up and try to kill even harder. It's like a gangbang. Like, if the dude before me rails the chick really hard and gives her the time of her life, then I'm about to give her the time of her life plus one.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at the audience. This is my time to give it to them.
Okay.
And I don't care what the person before me did. I'm about to fucking rock this place. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to try to, at least. I'm going to give it everything I got. I'm going to use every tool I got. And if I fail, I tried. And I know I tried.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
So.
Well, you get enough practice, that's for sure.
Oh, man. And if you do it enough, you learn that when shit ain't going right, you just sit in the pocket and count those minutes down.
Right. That's what was good about the Hilarious 7. The minutes are right there in your face.
That can be the worst
That's actually
part.
pretty cool. That's a cool concept what they got going on, too, with that. With the whole 7 comedians, 10 minutes a pop.
10 minutes.
Keep it pushing. But it's a big chunk of time, I guess, for like someone who's not experienced, I guess, so to speak.
For a lot
30 minutes has got to be a long time to be on stage.
30 minutes is a commitment. You know what I mean? Like, you are really... again, imagine having a conversation with a random group of people for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And if they ain't buying it, you're all stuck.
How many
in this
sets you done
together.
like that? You've done anything close to like that, like a 30-minute chunk?
The most I've done was 2 hours.
Wow.
But it was... Remember when I was doing the college run?
Uh-huh.
So I got screwed over by a college booker for about 10 grand. I still made about 29 grand off of him. So I made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which I was like patting myself on the back, and I was really mad that he screwed me over because we could have made so much more money together. But part of what I was doing was a game show. Hated the game show because I wanted to be a stand-up comic in there. I didn't want to be, Wink
Hosting
Martindale.
and shit,
You know what I mean? But the more I started to do it, the more I was like, yo, this is like a very strong muscle to have, to be able to be a game show host and keep everybody kind of hype up and into it without selling your soul and looking like, an idiot up here jumping around.
Yeah.
So I started tying stand-up into the game show. So I started writing material revolved around the games that we had to play, or, you know what I mean? Like, I leaned into it. I was like, what if The Price is Right was like, hey, we need somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, how do I look at this in a positive manner? So some of the times these contracts would call for a 2-hour show. And I'm like, okay, I've legit got 30 minutes of stand-up.
Wow.
And I know that the game show takes 45 minutes, so I got to fluff this up. So I would just go up, and during the game show, I would start roasting people and making fun of them. And
so you think that was kind of really what helped home that too, like pull that into your routine for sure?
Yeah, because I had to flex every muscle I had to survive to get that paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And and I had schools that asked me to come back the next semester, which even the booker was like, "Wow, we've never had that before."
That's
I was like,
awesome.
Oh, cool. But it was where I was like, I have to survive up here.
Yeah.
So the 2-hour show probably wasn't the best, but
you got them engaged, and that's what it's all about, really.
Man, I bombed for 30 solid minutes in Wild Horse Pass, Oregon, I think is what it's called. Me and old Johnny Hilder, we did a show up there together. And the DJ wasn't paying attention or just didn't care. Played the same R. Kelly song 5 times in a row. I don't remember which one it was. It was awful. It was like listening to Trapped in the Closet. You know what I mean? We were just saying shit over and over and over. So finally, by like the 5th time, we were like, hey, how many more times are you going to let that happen? He started laughing. He was like, I guess I'll change it. And we're like, you're messing with everybody? So it's kind of a weird start to the show. So then it's one of those runs where they don't have a host and a feature. The host feature is the same spot.
Yeah.
So you go up and do 30 cold minutes. So it's either going to be awful or it's going to be a gradual buildup.
Yeah.
But there's no two ways about those. And it was awful from beginning to end.
Wow.
Total shit show. No one bought into a joke. And it was before I really knew how to like do crowd work or was confident enough to dive out there. Because I didn't want to get a "you suck" from the back of the room. Like, fuck you, buddy, let's meet. You know, like... So like I didn't know what to do, and it all seemed to stem around this one like queen bee in the room. Like there was this one blonde chick with her ponytail pulled way too tight, and if every joke you told, like almost everyone in the room looked towards her, and if she reacted, they reacted. So if she giggled, it would get like a small giggle. And if it got a laugh, because John Hilder finally got some laughs out of it, but it was the same thing for him. She let out a big laugh. The room let out a big laugh. And we're like, this is the most cultish thing ever had in our life. And we bolted, dude. We got out of town right after that. Like that, it was rough.
Wow. So you've done so much. College tours. We went and saw you out at Laughlin for Laugh Fest.
Man, that was so cool.
Yeah,
Midnight show.
You've done a bunch of shit, like all over the Strip. Is there a particular show or anything that like stands out? I mean, that's like has been your favorite, or like was just like the best show you've ever had, something like that?
Man, I don't know. Like, as far as the best show I've ever had, it's hard to say, because like I try to have that attitude that yesterday was my like new low. You know what I mean? So if I had a good show yesterday, then that's my new low. Like today's better than yesterday. That type of attitude. So I kind of retain more of the bombs and the weird shit than I do the good sets, if that makes sense. Like my job is to go up there and kill. So to remember killing all the time is like it's almost arrogant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate to say it that way. Like that's what they pay me to do.
No,
so
that's good though.
I don't know. I shouldn't be bragging about hitting home runs if that's what I'm paid to do.
Yeah, that's
it
good.
should be the triples that I leg out. That's what I should be bragging about.
You should be out there making speeches to the sports teams and let
Right.
these guys know what the fuck is up.
Like that Laughlin show at the Laugh Fest, that one sticks out in my mind as one of my favorite because of how weird it got.
Yeah.
Do you remember the mic cutting out on me?
I do.
So I was angry about that because we were told this was a showcase and that it was going to be like a good show, which it was.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that they were putting us on at midnight at the very end of the Laughlin Strip in that Harrah's Casino.
Yeah.
Beautiful room. But I was like, we drove all the way. And I was embarrassed too because I was like, my friends drove out here for this.
Yeah.
And this is going to suck. It's going to be terrible. And it turned out to be really good.
Yeah.
But they put me up, what was it, dead last or second to last
I think
or something
it was
like
second
that?
to last or something like that.
And I had a mic cut out during a race, not a racist joke, but as a joke where I'm making fun of the KKK, but I'm making fun of how people think I'm in the KKK. But yeah, so that was the one where it set the mic went out right when I hit the punchline. I hit it, it turned back on. And I tried to do the joke a second time, and the crowd was like, yeah, do it a second time. Like, and they thought it was funny, and it cut out again. And I just fucking took the thing and put it in my back pocket. And I stepped to the edge of the stage, and there was like 220 people in there. And I just did it. I just acapella'd the whole thing as loud as I could. And the crowd was like, yeah, you finished the joke. And I had like 2.5 minutes left. And I was like, it's not going to get any better than that. I'm out of here. Like, I'll take the bump on not doing the time.
Yeah, see, I hate that kind of... I had a... Fuck, I don't even remember what it was. Expression. The night was called Expressions, but there's an area in Vegas called the Black Strip. It was like back when the segregation stuff, and they wouldn't allow blacks on the Strip. They had
I
an
never
area.
knew there was the Black Strip.
Yeah, it's out
dude.
towards like where the D Street area kind of is and stuff. I mean, it's really non-existent. I mean, now. But
Yeah.
there was some little spot in there, and some chick did, you got to come through and got this expression, and it was like me and these dude KO boys and a couple other ones, and they put me on like first or second or something. The DJ wasn't even set up anything for like CDs, for MP, anything like flash drives, none of that. So
You got a YouTube link?
that's how we started, and then so they were like, well, just acapella kind of thing. So I started spitting something kind of deep, but it started off with fuck or something. I
do what the fuck I want. Yeah, hate it or love it. I love to get fucked up and do dumb shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you got to keep the language. And so I was like, so then they go, well, try it without like the, you know.
Oh, no.
So I went about 3 bars in and just went, you know what, man, how am I supposed to express myself? This is expression Sundays or whatever, but yeah, same thing. I've had those mic cutouts and just weird shit that it's like, man, that's why I was like, I'm just gonna nip this shit in the bud right now.
Well, it's a little different for you because you either got to have music or you got to have the crowd. Like what you do is not something that's good for a quiet audience.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can do stand up without an amp. If you know what I mean, like you can get them to hold on for a punchline, and then you can pause and wait for them to quit laughing, and then talk to them again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you can kind of work that in your favor. But for what you're doing, man, if you're having technical difficulties, you're shit out of luck, probably. You know what I mean? Like you have almost no chance of making it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the flip side, though, you know, a DJ can spin and you could try to work shit out and stuff. You know, at least there's a way to keep the audience kind of pulled a little bit. You know what I mean? Like. No mic and you ain't loud and you know what I mean, like it's crickets, you know what I mean, that sucks. So on the flip side, that's
a disinterested audience is like being on a bad dinner date.
Oh man,
you're just trying everything you got to get a reaction.
And that's what you were saying about that, because I guess once you like hit 1 or 2 jokes that don't make them laugh, they're almost like stubborn about laughing after that. Like, you know, you better be funny now, you know, like you gotta, I don't know. That's, like I said, much respect to the people up there doing the stand-up shit. I got a couple MCs, boys that have talked about. Donnie Menace actually has talked about. He's been writing a lot of jokes over the years and shit. Yeah. But there's a couple other MCs I know that are like, man, I've been thinking about putting my foot in comedy. And I tell them, you know, I got some boys that are in it, so if you need to do it. But I was like, man, whole different ball game, like actually doing it from thinking. Because, you know, there's a couple people I've seen get up and do comedy, and you can tell it's kind of their first 1 or 2 times, because it's, you know, there's just a certain, I don't want to say there's a formula, but there's got to be, you know, there's a certain flow to doing it. And you know some people are just telling stories, and there's really no like pow, like that punch, that real like ha moment. It's just a bunch of storytelling shit. But
you gotta learn how to work. It's you know, it's not, you can't just get up there and babble off a bunch of stuff and hope people laugh. You know, it takes acknowledging feelings in the room and understanding that not everyone's on the same page, and getting them on the same page, and it's definitely something you learn with the more you do it. You know what I mean? Like if you step into stand up and you're good at it right away, you're either stealing jokes or you're a lucky son of a bitch. But you're gonna run into a wall sooner or later.
I've been around you enough to see a lot of joke stealers, especially in the open mic community.
Oh, man.
And you guys are quick to call them out, too. There is no shame in that, for sure.
Are you guys like that in the hip-hop community? Do you hear people stealing lines?
Yeah, it's a little different, I guess. If you're stealing them pretty blatant, then, yeah, I mean, you're going to get called out for it, for sure. But, you know, that's the beauty about doing what we do. I mean, I guess you guys could do it, too, but it's, you know, you can say near the same thing. It's just how you say it, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, because you can punchline and metaphor and simile things up to, you know, that's why people don't like the whole new Eminem thing, and I love it, because the guys like just punchline and metaphors coming. I mean, some people don't even understand them; they're so complex. You know what I mean? But I like that. You know, I dig that kind of. I like wordplay a lot.
And he's not a one-trick pony either.
No.
And that's another thing that I think a lot of entertainers in general, but comedians especially, they get very rhythmic with their jokes, to where it's the same style of joke all the time. And it's like music. It's okay, it may be a good song, but it's got the same tempo and everything as the last song you just had on your album. And that kind of, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of starts to sound the same after a while.
Yeah.
It may lose its effect. So I think there's a lot to be said for comedians that change up.
Keeping it fresh.
Yeah, well, they'll use a one-liner to get your attention to tell a story. You know what I mean? Like, they'll say something absurd that shocks you, and you're like, what the and then they spend the next 10 minutes explaining what they just said, and you're dying the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of different ways to approach things, so to see comedians use different muscles to do that, you're like, that's a person that really explores how to do things, you know?
Yeah, cool. Well,
And, and that's the way Eminem is what I was getting at.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, shit, we'll hop into it. Actually, we'll let you see Bobby in his prime, right? You know, doing his thing. We went to the Hilarious 7 at Hooters and caught his set. Wrecked it. Check it out.
Give it up for Bobby Wayne Stauts. Let him hear it.
I wish I had anything to accompany that music, but I do not. It's just me, guys. Just another redneck in a plaid shirt. Now that I look around, I realize they say white folks ain't got any culture, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, we sure as fuck do. Look at all these plaid shirts in the audience. That's the white man's dashiki right there. That's what we got, guys. That's all we have. I like your hat, sir. Where are you from? You moved. You used to be from Chicago, but you uprooted your mother's vagina and brought it here. Sir, you are still from Chicago. Move wherever you'd like. You were born in Chicago. There ain't shit you can do to change that. What made you decide to leave Chicago and come to Vegas? You retired? Okay. You can't be retired in Chicago? Hey, he retired. Get him the fuck out of here. Oh, you're gonna quit working? Why don't you go hang out in the desert where ain't nothing finished? How about that? You like all the shade we got here, retired fella? Well, fucking get out of here. Go burn in the desert. Go hang out in the sand. It's like being at the beach, but there ain't no water. What's up? What made you choose Vegas, man? There's so many cooler places you could have gone being retired. A lot of things to do here. He's like, fuck yeah, weed's legal and prostitution is too, right over there. I'm putting that, if the RVs are rocking, don't come and knock it, baby. The reason we sold the house, every time we tried to have a threesome, the kids came knocking on the door. What about you guys? Where are you from? Washington State. All right, good. What are you guys doing in town?
Birthday girl.
Birthday girl. 7 people give a shit, man. I'm sorry. Everyone else is bitter as fuck. I don't know why. How long you guys been in town? How long? 2 days. All right. You done any wild shit since you've been in town? Well, fucking tell us and we'll define it. Out with the details, lady. Let's do this. And don't pull that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas bullshit, because we're still here. What about you two? You look like an adventurous couple. Where are you from? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Salt Lake.
Salt Lake. I picked the only Mormons in the room to ask them the truth. The 2 people that can't have caffeine. I'm like, what gets you riled up? I'm like, caffeinated coffee. I just can't contain myself. You give me half a can of soda, this top's gonna come off. I'm gonna tell you right now. Keep all this in here. So you guys, have you always lived in Salt Lake?
Yeah.
For the most part. All right, one of y'all's lying on your Tinder profile because you had to look at each other. Like, fuck, what did I tell him? Yeah, I have been in Salt Lake the whole time. I get kicked off of Facebook quite regularly because I just don't give a fuck about anything. And I really should. I'd probably be a lot farther along in my career, but here I am. Here I am in a casino named after titties telling y'all jokes. Like, I'm from Mississippi, man, and I try to be patient with my people, but goddamn, they're dumb. Like, I'm sorry if you're from the South, but we got to get it together, y'all. We've done some good shit, but we're really fucking up right now. Like, there was a big argument. People were like, we need to keep the statues. It's heritage, not hate. Okay. So I took a bunch of pictures of Saddam Hussein statues, put the words heritage, not hate on them, and got myself a 30-day Facebook ban. Whatever, it was worth it. What about you two? Where are you guys from? Los Angeles. Hell yeah, welcome to Vegas. What are you ne'er-do-wells doing here? What, the date night away from the kids? So you had to leave the state? You're raising some dickheads, dude. Look, baby, we got Metro PCS. They can't get a hold of us outside of the state. If we just book it, we can get out of here. We have a good night. The house is insured. They can burn the motherfucker down. I don't care. What about you two? Where are you guys from? You locals. Well, thanks for sitting down front, assholes. There's tourists. They could have used that, see? You selfish son of a bitch. You live in Where did you guys move from? New York City. And you were just like, I've had enough of this shit. You guys are like, we need to relax. I'm tired of seeing homeless people shit on the streets. Let's go to Vegas where at least they shit in the bushes. They have some decency. I don't understand why anybody would want to be homeless in this place, man. It's too fucking hot. You know what I mean? Like, they're just out there getting cooked, and on top of that, they do meth. You know what I mean? I'm like, you ain't got shit to do, and you want to stay awake longer to not do shit? What the fuck is wrong with you? Go to bed, get some rest, get your head together, get your life together. I know. What about, is that your birthday, ma'am?
It is! Woo!
Hell yeah, you're trying to get you some birthday dick this weekend, huh?
I'm married, but thank you.
You're married?
I am.
Then you should be getting birthday dick this weekend from your husband.
Girls' night.
She's like, it's my birthday. I don't want that awful thing in my life. I got to do chores every other day of the year. Hey, thanks for playing along, guys. I'm Bobby Wayne Stauts. You guys are off.
Bobby Wayne Stauts, let him carry, guys.
All right. That was Bobby. I'm telling you, man, this guy's killing the game. But you can catch him, I don't know, 2-3 nights a week between Stratosphere and, I mean, you're all over the place. I mean, is there somewhere you're consistently at all the time?
6 nights a week at the Stratosphere.
God damn.
The resident opener feature for James Michael, the Redneck Magician.
Okay.
That's at LA Comedy Club.
What day are you not there?
Tuesday. Tuesday's the only day I'm not there.
That's a dark day or whatever?
Yeah, we're dark
Okay.
at 6. And then other than that, just follow me either on like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of those. Like what is it? Bobby Wayne Stauts on Facebook, Bobby Wayne S on Instagram, and then Fun Bob Fat Pants on Twitter.
Hey.
So yeah, I do a lot of updates on that because I get a lot of shows that pop up throughout the week.
Yeah.
So yeah, but luckily I get to go up in a lot of spots. So definitely follow me and find out where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. You're active, so they can catch you somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Very, 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 very worth it. I promise you.
I appreciate it.
Promise you. Put my name on it. So what do you think, man? You up for some dabs or?
Oh hell yeah!
See, okay, that's the
I think
attitude I like. I don't know why I asked because I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think you want
to.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite parts about the Laughlin show. We right, like it's like 30 minutes before showtime. I think didn't you guys kind of surprise me about being there? Wasn't that what happened? And you were just like, "Hey, you want to go do dabs?" And I was like, "I'd love to."
We took my mom and them out there too. I bought her tickets because I can't remember who was out there. It was a couple nights because it was a couple nights and stuff or something. It was a 3-night festival, but I don't know, Gabriel Iglesias or somebody.
Oh yeah, that's right, Larry the Cable Guy.
Yes, yeah. She went up there and saw a bunch of them, so we came out there and saw your motherfucking ass.
This fool. You want to go do dabs in the car? Yeah, sure. Or he goes, "You want to go get stoned?" And I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool. We're gonna smoke a joint or a blunt or whatever." And you open up the center console, and you just pull out like the longest rig I'd ever seen in my life, and the torch and everything. And I was like, "You travel like this, you're the man." And it had water in it too. Like you didn't like.
Yeah, it stays upright.
It had been.
You got to place it all in there, nice and perfect. You know what's funny is no matter what car I have, there's always some perfect place for all of that shit.
Oh yeah,
all of it.
You got it all figured out. Or is that one of the stipulations on mine?
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, hold on. I got to sit in here real quick. I brought my rig and my torch and everything. We got to figure out how to put this all together. Does this have Sirius? Does it have a rig holder?
Oh, yeah. Man, it's not messing around.
So hold on. There's that. What's the plug I missed earlier? The whole as seen on Modern Family. I've heard this a billion times. What's that about? Because I don't even know. I was like, every time I hear it, I keep meaning to ask you, and I'm just like,
it's the bullshit of the business. I got background work on Modern Family.
See, at least you. Yeah,
so in my resume that I send to bookers, I'm like, here's what I've done where I've been like a speaking part, and here's where I've been background, and that's what they put that I've been on Modern Family. Now, Modern Family was just me walking through the scene.
Yeah.
So you can see me clear as day, which is cool. My kids found it before I did. They were watching Modern Family one night. They were like, "Yo, is that you?" And I was
yeah,
like,
that's
me.
funny.
Remember when I had the pork chops?
Yeah.
Before all the racists started wearing them again, I had to get rid of them. So yeah, that one. That's what that's from. Is that I did that. So that's always kind of embarrassing. But when I do anywhere I'm booked and they like use that on the flyer, I make sure to address that and make fun of it and be like, hey, look, this is what it was. Like,
Too funny because I figured it was something like that, but I was like, man, because I think I might even like Googled it or tried to something. But
man, for whatever reason, people won't go to a comedy show unless they've seen them on TV. Yeah, I don't get it.
But you know, it's a good tag to have to say that.
Yeah, ooh, excuse me. Well, I've been back when I was doing Sin City over at Planet Hollywood. Is that ready to hit?
Yeah, it's ready to rock.
Sorry, I didn't want to let it go.
No, go for it. You ready,
Is
bro?
it already on there? All right.
Just so everybody knows, low temps when you dab. Stop it with the getting it red hot and then just dropping it right on there right afterwards. Let that shit cool down. I got mine about 35 seconds or so. Perfect temp. But you got to cap it. Make sure you get that pot boiling, get all them terpenes. You get the flavor. You ain't singeing your THC, your crystals, none of that. Perfect hits. You don't want none of that garbage. Bob knows.
I think there's still a little bit left in there.
Oh, okay.
Might have cooled down a little bit too much. But yeah,
And then
no,
if it cools too much, it's like Area 10.
I was they had me out there trying to give away free tickets to the
Cap
show.
it and hit it again. Then he gets that second round hit. Oh. Nothing but flavor, baby. I love it. Sorry, I cut him off with the dab.
Best way to cut me off. That or titties.
Well, those are both worth getting cut off for.
But yeah, I was like,
Got
you guys,
him.
like this is in Planet Hollywood in a real nice room. And I was like, you guys want to come see a comedy show for free tonight? And they're like, oh, no thanks. We're about to go get tickets to go see a Brooks and Dunn cover band. What? Really? You're going to pay for that? So that's the beauty of being in Vegas is you got, a lot to prove.
Yeah, well, it's just like the music industry or any industry, especially when it comes to entertainment, it's rough, you know what I mean? It's the entertainment capital of the world, and it sounds great, but you're competing with a lot.
Oh, man.
A lot, you know what I mean? Why would you want to come to a local this, that, when you can go to every artist that's on the damn strip all the time?
Yeah, right?
And everyone's here. Everyone, almost. I mean, you can name them. They're here at some point, or
Gwen
resident.
Stefani has a residency here now.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I get that. I completely understand why I come to Vegas to see a bunch of fat, sweaty redneck yell at you. So I get that. Like, that doesn't seem enticing at all. I understand. Especially, there's just so many beautiful people in this town, too. So that's the other thing you got to contend with is there's, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these shows where everyone's in shape and handsome, and there's acrobatics and explosions and lighting and production. Like,
Now you know what you got to do.
yeah. Learn how to stand on my head
Yeah, get a trampoline or
and
something.
get titty implants.
There you go. Get the best of both worlds.
I don't need bigger titties. I need better titties.
Yes. That'll put you there.
It's great that we can just smoke weed out in the open now.
Tell me, ball.
We don't have to feel
I
like
always
lepers
have.
anymore.
That's what people are like, bro. I don't think you could just smoke out standing there like that. And I was like, I've been smoking out standing like this since I was like 16. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
I could care less now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way we were around the kids. I was like, why am I hiding this? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm making them think there's something wrong with
Sound
this
like you're
by
doing
hiding
coke.
it. What's that?
Sound like you're doing coke.
Oh, yeah, right. That's what keeps Daddy awake.
Miss Green, would you like one?
Sure.
Oh,
Hell
she never
yeah.
turns one down.
Who would turn down a dad? I mean, you're going to screw up her trivia score over there, though.
You want to smoke a big old joint?
Dude, I would
A
love
yoink?
to smoke something that big. See if I can make it till the end. I doubt it.
Yeah,
Don't be breaking.
probably not. Well, hello. This is my engineer. I pay her good.
Real good.
And dabs and dick.
So you got a show tonight?
Well, I just got done with the 6 p.m. over there at LA Comedy Club, so
Okay.
I'm done for the night. This is it for tonight. I'm going to go home and yell at the kids.
Sundays. Yeah, right. Let's
wish
say
I had Red
Sundays
Dead
you get
Redemption. Or was it Red Dead 2? That's what it
Then
is.
they
Red
wouldn't
Dead.
have to deal with it. They wouldn't have to get it.
Man, I hope Santa Claus. Have you played that game yet?
Nah, but everyone talked that one. Yeah, is that the cowboy one?
Yeah, I heard you can shoot clan
Sounds
members.
super dope. I was heard some dude on YouTube. Give it like 10 seconds. Some dude on YouTube, like I guess, records himself playing, and there's some chick that like protests women's rights.
Oh yeah.
So he like jumped off and he like tied her up and beat the shit out of her, threw him on the back of the horse and like took her somewhere and fed her to an alligator. And like all the women's right activists went fucking crazy. I was like, oh, that sounds like a good game. Sounds like GTA, but in the Western days and shit.
Yeah, that basically is what it is, from what I understand. Okay.
You played it though?
No, I want to.
Damn.
Like, I don't play video games like I used to. Like, it used to be just Grand Theft Auto 5 and Skate 3. Like, that's what I played. Other than that, I could give a shit less about anything else. So
Yeah.
that's why I heard Red Dead's really good. So that's
Yeah,
why I
Grand
went with
Theft Auto was my shit. I mean, I don't know, I like those games that are like real kind of, I don't know. I liked the first game I got hooked on, because I didn't play games for a long time, but Black Ops.
it. Oh, really?
So, like, Call of Duty was huge because it was a shoot 'em, like capture the flag. I like that kind of shit. But I don't like it when it's like monsters. I want it to be like you're fighting for real. And then GTA, when I got my hands on that GTA, man, woof, that was it.
He's going to be the most awful human being ever.
Oh, I love it.
You get to have sex with a prostitute and then murder her and take your money back.
Right, for real. And then you get to
Great.
jump in a jet.
Yeah.
From an Air Force base.
Yeah.
I love it.
You get to do it's just very hedonistic. You know what I mean? I think that's why that is the appeal of it. It's not because they have cool music. It's you get to do all the awful things you wish you could do in life.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're always like. They're giving you bad thoughts. I'm like, I think they're letting people get it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, fuck it, I'll do it on the game then.
Yeah.
I won't shoot up this office, but I'll go into that office in that GTA fucking game and smoke everybody in that motherfucking bank or something, whatever it is.
Well, that cracks me up that people think that something like video games are responsible for a ton of violence. You know what I mean? But like religious content or religious text full of violence doesn't do the same to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the same people making that argument that they'll believe in a book, but they're like, no, video games are horrible. Like there's a book where a god knocked up a 14-year-old girl. You don't think that's a bad influence? No? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm an awful person, I know. But yeah, it's crazy, but I do understand how some people are like, like when my kids are playing that stuff, I'm like, you do understand you can't run over homeless people in real life, right?
Really do this.
Yeah. Like your daddy's insurance doesn't cover that.
Yeah, for real. You're like, you don't just die and come back.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's the other one.
Not wasted.
Yeah. Our 3-year-old learned that one the hard way the other day. Did you see the video I posted on Instagram of him from last night?
He's fucking gangster.
Oh my god, of watching the...
You have to add that to this. Please add the clip from Instagram of him.
I showed you this morning, remember?
Okay, so let me set this up. We're watching a TV show called F is for Family. It's written by Bill Burr, or not written by Bill Burr, created by Bill Burr, and there's a team of writers. It's a hilarious show.
Fucking love Bill Burr.
And it's awful. It's offensive. There's lots of foul language, and we're like, all right, whatever. We'll just teach him to not say those words, and he does good. We had a period where he said bad words. We've taught him not to say them. He gets it. He can hear them and not repeat them now.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
That's good.
So he's watching the show, and the kid's got a hell of an arm. So he's like, I'm like, hey, clean up your toys. So what he's doing is he's sitting on the floor, and he's grabbing his toys, and he's hucking them. I mean, he's laser beaming these things into the toy box. And they're, pow. He hits like 9 in a row, dude. So I flip out my camera and start recording him. And he's like, boom, sinks another one. And about that time, you hear the TV show, come back here, you pussy fart. And Dexter sits there for a second. He's about to throw. And he sits there for a second and spins around with the biggest grin on his face and goes, he said pussy fart.
Yeah, that shit's so fucking funny, dude.
Of all the words to pick up on.
Oh, winner.
Oh my god.
Dude, he's fucking funny, dude. You post so much shit about him, dude. He is fucking hilarious.
He's so fun, man. He's one of those kids that makes you want to have 10 more. But in reality, they're not going to be this much fun.
Yeah.
Well, he's as much of an asshole as he is fun, though. Like he's stubborn shithead. Like, so the fun moments are good, but there's just as much in this fiber. You're like, I understand when people hit kids. Like
for real. Yeah,
So-
you lucked out. That's especially since it's your first kid. You lucked out with that for sure.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, you got know you got some stepchildren and shit, but I mean that's because that's like Asley. I was like, man, we couldn't have rolled the
Dude,
dice
we
any
couldn't have gotten
better.
any fucking easier with her.
Oh, really?
Oh man, everything was so fucking spectacular.
Big
It was-
time.
Oh.
Yeah, weaning her out of diapers, off of the binky, off of the bottle, like everything was so smooth. Like she was never really an asshole. Like
Oh no.
she was good. We got real fucking lucky.
This kid is stubborn. Like he does things on his own terms, which is fun to a point. Because you're like, all right, I appreciate your independence. You know what I mean? But then sometimes you're like, dude, back off and let me show you how to do this shit.
Yeah.
Like it took us forever to potty train him. He was doing okay, and then he got a little scared, and then we went on an airplane, and he went to use the bathroom.
Oh,
And when that thing said, oh, it scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So he thought
It's gonna
Yeah.
suck me out, yo.
it scared him right back in the diapers. So
Oh no.
that was a
That's
bit tough, but like,
funny.
yeah, no, he is a very stubborn kid at times. So, and he doesn't stop either. Like he's a busybody.
Wait till
How old is
the
he again?
3.
3 years old. Yeah, wait till he's 13.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
it's
I
a whole
mean-
different thing. He's gonna be like, "Fight me, Dad."
He's gonna be bigger than me at that point. And it's gonna scare me. Like I'm not small by any means, but
But you're young still.
yeah,
So
but
you're like, "Bring it, motherfucker."
well, no, I'm 33 years older than him. So when he hits 18, I'm gonna be pushing 51. And he was a big kid,
Yeah.
10 pounds 13 ounces. So he was a
Yeah.
big boy. So, and he hasn't stopped.
When he's a rowdy boy too.
He's the size of a 5-year-old, man.
That's why I didn't want a boy.
Oh really?
Oh hell yeah, dude! That was the epitome of why I did not want a boy.
This kid,
No.
he's like, he's gonna be a hoss. Like we'll go to the park, and I'll see other kids his size like talking really clear, really good sentences and well mannered,
Yeah.
and I'm like, my boy's fucking retarded. What's wrong with him? And then like he can't talk. What's wrong? And then Crystal, my wife, would be like, that kid's 5, but they're the same size, and he's 3.
Shit.
So that's where I'm like, oh, okay. Now I get it. Like, they're older than him. So
Yeah.
he's a big boy, man, and he ain't slowing down.
Yeah, he's
so,
a monster for sure.
yeah. But it's fun, dude.
He
It's,
runs that house, boy. He's the boss.
Yeah, he is. We're lucky, though, that the stepkids are, they're great, man. They, you know what I mean? Like, they watch him when we're not able to or when I'm out doing shows and stuff. So the older 2 girls they're perfect little angels that fuck up occasionally, but, you know.
I mean, they're going to.
Oh man, the oldest is in robotics. She's traveling the country in robotics competitions. So
No shit.
yeah, that's been pretty cool. So
Wow.
I'm jealous.
Awesome.
She works in like this whole shop with
What
like
the fuck was that
lathes
when
and-
I was a kid? God
Right.
Damn, yo.
Yeah, we had wood shop, make a mailbox,
I mean,
idiots. Like that was
right?
all you had. Go paint this.
Too funny.
So
God damn. I think we had wood shop. That's what I'm saying. That's it. Wood shop, and maybe I think the school I went to in El Paso never even had like I guess.
oh, you guys didn't have automotive?
Yeah, but everyone like
don't
when I
think
came.
my school did either.
Yeah, when I came out here, there was always like they got a car, and then that was the car that they worked on for the year type shit. I was like, learning to be mechanics and shit.
Oh yeah, we had our Votech in Mississippi had a auto mechanics program, and I took it. I shouldn't have. My dad was a mechanic. I grew up in a mechanic shop. I should have went to woodworking. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so it was kind of a layup to go to auto mechanics class, and the teacher learned who my dad was. My dad had one of the bigger mechanic shops in town, so the teacher was kind of shitty to me. Because he'd be in the middle and be like, this is how da-da-da-da. And he'd turn and look at me and goes, I don't know how your dad does it. But I was like, what?
Damn.
What a dick.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of funny. And then we had a special needs janitor named George, and the local dealership had donated a truck. And it was the same truck that for like the last 10 years, every class had taken it apart, put it back together.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, George decided to come in early one day, and we walk in. We didn't know George would come in early, and we walk into the truck laying on its side.
The fuck?
Yeah, how you think we felt, right? We're like, what is going on here? So we flip it back over, and then we go in the room to change out, the little locker room. George is hiding in one of the bathroom stalls. And we're like,
The hell?
yeah, we're like, what's going on, man? The teacher goes in there. After about 10 minutes, he comes out and he's like, apparently George was playing with the truck on the lift, going up and down.
That's what I figured.
And shook it off of the lift and flipped it over.
Oh, wow.
So the auto mechanics instructor was cool as hell. He was like, all right, man, we're just going to learn body work this week. And that's what we did. We fixed the dents on that thing. Nobody said a word to the administration or anything. They let George slide, yeah.
Mishaps. That's funny. Speaking of mishaps, you've had any bad ones on stage?
Mishaps on stage. Oof. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Sounds like you just remembered something.
Yeah,
painful.
this was a rough one.
You tried to forget until I just asked you to remember.
I was doing a bit about getting rid of the internet and how it's turned everybody into know-it-alls.
Yeah.
Right. And I was messing with some people in the audience over it, and this guy started coughing. He'd already coughed like 10 times during my set. So now it's like one of those things that was loud enough to throw off your timing.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, man, do you need a water or anything? He's like, no, I'm cool. All right. Well, then I get into that bit. He coughs, and I go, see what I'm saying? All of you people just diagnosed him with lung cancer because it's a bit about people being know-it-alls. So then I keep rolling with it, and I move on to something else, and then he coughs again, and I'm like, hey, man, are you sure you're all right? Can I get you a drink, a water, a whiskey, something? And he goes, no, I'm cool. And I go, are you sure? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I was just diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh, bomb.
I felt like somebody picked that stage up and dropped it off
Thanks,
in the middle
guys.
of the desert.
That'll be my time.
Right. So that's where I was like, fuck.
Shit.
So I was like, all right, the only way to play this is just to be uncomfortable with the crowd. And I go, whoa, fuck, my bad. And the crux of the whole doing away with the internet is the whole Harambe thing, the kid falling in a gorilla pit. So that's where I end the story. And I go, oh, fuck, where was I in that joke? And this guy goes, something about a gorilla pit. And I go, right, that's where I wish I was right now. And that got a laugh out of everybody. And I was like, here's my way out. And I finished that bit and got out. And everybody laughed. Nothing was uncomfortable. And I walked over to the guy and I was like, man, my bad. I was like, I didn't know you had lung cancer. That joke wasn't directed at you. I was like, that was just in relation to the bit. And he goes, man, I completely understand. So he comes up to the bar to do a shot with me, right? And I'm like, we're buddies. And as we're doing the shot, this lady comes walking up. She's got the saddest, most somber face on. And she goes, look, I just want to say I'm sorry. You didn't know there'd be somebody in the crowd with cancer when you made that joke, and I just don't want you to feel bad. And then she looked at the guy with cancer and goes, have a good night, and gave me a hug and turned around and walked away. And I was like, that's the dude with cancer.
That's
Yes.
so funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Golden.
So yeah.
Damn.
So I mean, they
turned good.
Yeah, sometimes they turn out fine, but yeah, I had one where I did a show in Arizona. Oh man, some town that starts with an F. I can't remember what it's called right now. It's on the freeway. Anyway, I had a bit about how I was just being really lazy in life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet I could even out lazy cancer. And it turns out the show we were doing was for a cancer survivor.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, you beat it too. Like, I didn't know until I was in the middle of the joke. I was like, oh, I can't. Yeah.
Ouch.
So,
Oh, shit.
yeah. And I mean, they didn't laugh. We laughing right now. They didn't laugh. It was rough.
God damn. And see, that would have been
I
bad.
feel bad laugh because I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, if you survived, you gotta laugh. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't be offended. Just be like, all right.
You know,
man.
especially, I mean, if you're at a comedy show, I mean, I understand if you show up at a clinic and, you know, you're not prepared for what you're coming into. But, you know, if you go to a comedy show, you got to kind of think, you know, that's like, well, I like Tosh. I know that's a give or take with people, but I know he even made like he was talking about people had made a joke and lady was like, rape ain't funny. And he was like, it's funny if you make a joke about it and you laugh, you know, it's like, it's funny. You know, you can make light of things without taking it so fucking serious.
Well, I think in that set, he also said something along the lines of, she was like, rape isn't funny. And he goes something like, I beg to differ. And she goes, how do you figure? And he goes, well, do you like rape? And she goes, no. And he goes, that's the spirit, like that.
That's great.
So, like, it's hilarious. You know what I mean? So, I can understand why a rape survivor would be a bit incensed about that. You know?
Yeah.
But I think if he was not making fun of rape survivors, she should understand the difference.
Right.
So
that's funny. Well, before we get out of here, I'm definitely going to bring something up because this is some of my favorite shit to this day. Your pops.
Oh, my dad?
You've done material about your dad. You've
Oh.
just talked about your dad. Is he your dad, is he live in Vegas or is he?
No. My dad and I don't really get along.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a big character, but man, he's a criminal. So I just can't be associated with that. Yeah, he's not a good person, all told. Like, he's hilarious. I wish he was a good person.
Well, I mean, even the stories you tell, it doesn't seem like he's all that good of a person because it's not ever like, good stories or anything.
'Cause
It's
most
always
of the
talking
story-
shit to you about, like, I think one of my favorite ones off the top of my head I can think about was you calling your dad to tell him that you got booked to headline a show in Mesquite, Nevada, and he says,
oh, yeah.
how fucking convenient, boy. You got fucking booked in a city, the same fucking flair, the name of your favorite fucking potato chips.
Yeah,
and
where
shit,
you
dude.
at next
Oh
week?
my
Cool Ranch?
God, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you going next? Cool Ranch?
I haven't told that
shit's
joke in
fucking
years.
Great, dude.
Years.
But you used to fucking even just talk, just snap off shit about your pops. That shit's so fucking funny.
Dude, he's a polarizing character because if he's not made you laugh, he stole something from you. You know what I mean? Like, or he probably stole something from you while he's making you laugh. That's usually how it goes with him. Just a shade tree mechanic and a shady mechanic, and he's always one of those guys that's looking for opportunity. But he's also he's a nut, man. Like, I remember I was 12 years old and I was with him for the summer, and he was living in Woodstock, Georgia, and he was working at a place called L&H Goodyear. He worked on a ton of Woodstock Police Department's cars. Mm-hmm. So the neighborhood we lived in was adjacent to the Woodstock Police Department.
Yeah.
So my dad had this 991 Firebird, and one night I wake up I hear my dad yell out, "Motherfucker!" as he's running out the house, right? Somebody had broken into his 91 Firebird. My dad ran out there in his tighty-whities, jumped through the busted window and started wailing on this dude as this dude drove away in the Firebird. The dude pulls over in the very next parking lot that he comes to, which is the Woodstock Police Department, as my dad is steady wailing on this dude, rolls out the passenger side screaming about, "This motherfucker's trying to kill me." And the cops come running up and arrest the guy, and the guy can't figure out why. They all know the man in the underwear. It's because my dad's their mechanic.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, all right, that's bullshit, Dad. Like, I'm with him at the time, so I know he went out in his underwear. I know he left. All I see is two pale legs hanging outside of the car. Okay, I know that part's true, but I'm like, there's no way that it went down like that with the cops. Like a week later, fucking one of the cops shows up at the shop and he's like, "Hey man, nice seeing you with some clothes on." And I was like, "Oh, they did see him.
Man.
That is funny."
That's fucking funny.
Crazy.
And at the same time, growing up in Mississippi, I watched him threaten to beat the fuck out of a cop. And the other cop that was with him told the cop he was with to stand down because he had seen my dad fight enough to know that it wasn't going to end well for him or my dad.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? Here's what happened. My dad's second wife was nuts. This bitch was loony, right? And she was a pillhead. So my dad and her had an apartment, and they split. My dad was paying her bills, and she's all pilled out. She's got my two little sisters, and my dad's staying with me and my grandparents. She locks herself out of her house and starts blowing my dad's phone up. My dad doesn't do anything about it because he's like, whatever, bitch. He thinks she's just being crazy, right? Wants him to come over. So about 9 o'clock in the morning, I wake him up to two sheriff's deputies at our front door, my grandparents' front door. And my dad's kind of a big hillbilly, right? Big redneck dude. And they're like, "Hey, we're just looking for your dad. We had a few questions for him." And, "Oh, okay, Dad." He's asleep on the couch next to the door, like they want to talk to you. So he comes over, and he's standing there, arms crossed like this, and they're having a conversation, and I'm listening. And the guy's like, "Yeah, man, we're here to arrest you for attempted murder." I was like, "Oh, shit." And my dad's like, "Of who?" And he goes, "Your wife." And he goes, "I've been here all night." And he goes, "Other than that, I had a record call. So I've got proof of where I've been the whole time." So the cops are like going back and forth with him, and the new cop the new deputy. He's getting a little angry. He's getting a little frustrated, and he reaches. My dad's standing there, arms crossed. And he reaches over and grabs my dad's forearm and goes, "I'm tired of talking. It's time to go." And I see that, and I'm like, "Fuck! He's about to go to jail for murder. Like, this is not going to be good." And my dad looked at the other deputy, and he goes, "Hey, tell your little puppy dog to take his paw off of me right now." And I was like, "We're about to lose the whole front of my grandparents' house."
You don't talk to the cops like that.
And the deputy the older deputy turns and looks at the young one and goes, "Take your hands off of him, and we'll get him in the car nicely." And he was just straight up like, "Look, Greg, if you got nothing to do with it, just get in the car, come down there and plead your case." So my dad goes to the police department. The paper runs in the blotter that my dad was arrested for attempted murder. Turns out this bitch had locked herself out of the apartment, busted a window and crawled through it, cut herself up real bad, crawling through the window, and bled all over the apartment. Took her to the hospital. She sticks to the story. They arrest my dad. He's still in police custody, and they let her back out of the hospital. He's been sitting in police custody for like 8 hours at this point. Still doesn't have her keys. Climbs through the same broken window, cuts herself up again, and calls the police. "He's back here trying to kill me."
Shut the fuck up.
What
But he's still
the
locked up.
He's sitting-
Fuck.
No.
So they let him out right there.
Wow.
So they had the newspaper had to print a retraction, all kinds of shit. So yeah, there's
That's fucking-
all
We
kinds
should
of
do a
stories.
whole
like-
other episode on your dad.
yeah,
God damn.
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's
nuts, bro.
yeah, it's. I've recently reconnected with my mom. We went like 10 years without talking because it was just a wild life with her also. But she confirmed all these stories to my wife, and my wife was like, "Oh man, I feel bad for doubting you on some of these." She thought thought maybe I was embellishing. I'm like, this motherfucker's wild. Like,
Wow.
So yeah,
That's nuts.
That is crazy.
Well, shit, man. Anything else before we get out of here? I mean,
come to a show sometime. People come hang out. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
comedy going on in Vegas. A lot of funny locals.
big time.
You got Joe Calise, Kool-Aid, Gooch, Jocelyn Sharp, Matt Markman. There's a bunch
Man,
of funny
there's
people.
So many.
Come see us. A lot of guys and girls have been working hard to get out there. So
Big time.
hell yeah.
Well, shit, before I leave, just so everybody knows, Bobby's the reason I found Hip Hop Roots. I was double booked at Daddy Mac's one day. Not necessarily double booked, but we were supposed to be there for a birthday show. And
That's your birthday, wasn't it?
yeah, and Cutthroat Cadavers got booked, and there was nowhere to go. And you said, "Let's go to Fremont and drink." And we walked around, and you said, "You see the sign?" And it was Hip Hop Roots. Bam, open mic every Tuesday.
Oh no shit.
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. Next week, that was it. History in the making right there.
Hell
Not that
yeah,
I
dude.
wouldn't have found it, but that was, I don't know that it would have worked out the same had I not have found it at the time I found it. So
Yeah.
that's love right there. So
Hell
little
yeah, dude.
history in the making. So
I hope in 20 years we get to look back on this on nicer couches.
that's the goal. That's the goal. But I appreciate you.
I
coming
love
on
you
the show,
guys, man,
my dude.
forever.
I love you too, brother.
Family. I promise you. That's fucking. You guys are like family to me. It's our
Yeah,
family to me.
Yeah,
so
yeah, you are. You as well. You and the whole family. Yeah. Well, shit. You know the drill. Hip Hop Roots podcast. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Make sure everybody's safe. Next episode is our last episode of the 2018. We're gonna have Art Signs, my boy from Smoke with Your Boy podcast, and a big Head Force and Campfire Music. So we're gonna have him on. We're gonna do some recap of 2018. See all the shit that happened. So, but man, again, I'm glad you were on the show. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell your people. Let's build those numbers up. Don't forget, hit that voicemail line 775-538-6350. If you got Hip Hop Roots memories, share them with us. Let's make this segment. We're gonna share some of these memories that people got that we can't get on the show. So, but other than that, you know how it goes, y'all. Go Knights, go.
Let's go.
oh, were we supposed to touch?
No.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, 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 bells.
Piano in the bell.
Jingle bell,